Hello, my name is Margot Davis, Mayor of Glen Innes Council. In February 2026, I presented the following presentation at the Australian Earth Sciences Convention. I'm excited to share a story from geology to place, building a georegion through evidence, experience and community. For those who may not be familiar with our part of the world, Glen Innes Highlands is located on the northern tablelands of New South Wales, about halfway between Sydney and Brisbane on the New England Highway. Our local government area covers more than 5,500 square kilometres, spanning tablelands and escarpments, national parks and old mining landscapes. It's a big place, and its scale and geology really matter to the story I want to share. What I'm talking about today isn't just a case study, it's a story of grounded ambition. Glen Innes Highlands is one of just 3 pilot georegions in Australia, alongside Ku-ring-gai and Murchison, recognised under the National Geotourism Strategy. Today I want to walk you through why we started this journey, what we chose to focus on first, and how that's shaping where we're heading next. But first, a little inspiration. To understand why Glen Innes chose this path, you first need to understand the landscape we're working with. This landscape isn't just beautiful, it tells a very long story. From Cambrian basement through volcanics and granites, the deep time narrative is all here. You can see it in the escarpments, in the granite outcrops, in the way rivers cut through the tablelands, and in the soils that support both biodiversity and agriculture. This is a landscape that has been shaped slowly, over hundreds of millions of years, but has also been lived in, worked and cared for every day. And we are determined not just to protect it, but to make it meaningful and visitable. For us, that meant thinking clearly and carefully about how people encounter this place, not just as a view, but as a story that connects geology with culture, landforms with livelihoods, and deep time with everyday experience. Glen Innes was determined to create a point of difference for visitors and for our local community, to enjoy the rich surroundings, stories and culture that exist here. Because when people understand the landscape they're standing in, they value it differently. And that understanding is the foundation for everything that followed. That sense of place is grounded very literally in geology. We sit within the New England origin, one of the most geologically complex belts in eastern Australia. Granites, volcanic sequences, structures and mineral systems all coexist here. Sapphires, tin and tungsten occur because of that geology, and they've shaped settlement, industry and identity across the region. Geosites like the Maybole volcano and Glen Innes Monza granite underpin our trails and interpretation. One of the challenges for us was how to help people understand what they're looking at when they stand in the landscape. That question led directly to the development of the Glen Innes Highlands Skywalk, which I'll talk more through shortly, but before I do, I would like to give you a sneak preview of what people actually hear when they stand there.
My name is Damien Wilkinson. I'm a geologist. If we look to the west, we'll see these beautiful undulating hills, and those hills are remnants of much younger basalt flows. But these basalts are very unusual. They're called alkaline, So they're very rich in potassium, sodium. They're also very rich in carbon dioxide. And the theory is that when these basalts were forming in the magma chambers underneath us here, we had the formation of a transparent crystal called corundum. Now, depending on the metal content that the corundum can absorb into it, will give it different colours. And the most common one of those, and most famous, is blue. The blue corundum, when it is gem quality, is called sapphire. And this whole area from Glen Innes all the way up towards Deepwater and all the way out west past Inverell, we have this extensive sheet of very unusual alkali basalt that produced these beautiful high quality sapphires.
Before going any further, it's worth being precise about what we mean by a georegion because it underpins everything that follows. A georegion is not a tourism brand or a loose collection of scenic sites. It is a strategic, geoscience-led framework. At its core, a georegion delineates a coherent geographic area defined by shared geological history, geomorphology, and landscape evolution, alongside the cultural and historical narratives that sit on top of that geology. It also provides a structured way to translate a geoscientific knowledge into education, community capability, and informed public engagement, and functions as a foundational unit that can scale and connect into larger landscapes working toward UNESCO Global Geopark. Glen Innes is one such georegion. Importantly, it does not stand alone. Together with complementary geological assets across the broader New England Northwest, it contributes to a connected regional framework with the geological integrity, diversity, and narrative coherence required for an aspiring UNESCO Global Geopark. The strength of the New England Northwest is not any single site, but the way its geology, landforms, mineral systems, paleo-environments, and cultural histories interlock across the landscapes. That depth allows geotourism to be applied not as a narrow visitor product, but as a holistic framework for regional development, aligned with the 10 UNESCO recognised categories required for global geopark nomination. Once we had that framework in mind, the next step was to ask some very practical questions. We started by undertaking a geotourism scoping study across the Glen Innes Highlands region and more broadly across the New England Northwest. What we wanted to understand was, what do we have? What can we talk about? What's interesting? What's discoverable? What's inspiring? And what's educational? That early scoping study became the starting point of our journey. We mapped more than 40 geological and cultural sites across the region, each one grounded in science and rich in biodiversity, history, and story. And through our previous destination management plan, it helped us clearly identify an opportunity, not just for tourism, but for a different way of understanding and presenting place. Guided by our partnership with Geotourism Australia, whose advocacy, expertise, and support were foundational to this work, we used that momentum to successfully engage with the New South Wales Geological Survey and were selected as the third pilot georegion in Australia, a milestone we're incredibly proud of. Since then, we've been working deliberately to ladder up to the geotourism framework. Our first major pilot was the Glen Innes Highlands Skywalk. Rather than just describe that experience, I'd like to show you. Here's a short video that captures the Skywalk's extraordinary perspective and the sense of connection to place that sits in the heart of our geotourism approach.
I tell you something. We're only here to remember what we know. Time waits for no man. Put me on my feet so I can fly. From helping people with your hands to working far away. We hope that you can make new plans. Sunrise says, please don't wait around.
We knew that through its vantage points looking east, southwest and south, we could bring our entire region to life from a single place. From that one point, we could tell stories about the abiotic and biotic, our culture, our landforms and landscapes, and more recently, our night skies. What you're about to hear is another excerpt from our Skywalk Sound Trail, this time a traditional owner describing their connection to country. This is how we layer the science with meaning.
I'm a Yarrabul Murray. This place is called Gendaichen in our language, which refers to the big granite boulders that you see all around the country here. I'm excited to share some stories about Yarrabul country and some knowledge and information that I've been blessed with. From where we're standing here, you can see Nundar Muggun, which is the Beardy Waters. So Nundar Muggun just means a wide flowing stream. So Muggun just means big, and Nundar means a river or creek. And Gunnagalbar, like the broader Beardy Plains area, which is a very significant meeting place and corroboree ground for Yarrabul people. It's a meeting place for blackfellas. Further from here, like yonder, you can see the Yarrow River, which flows down into the ranges and into the Man River system, and that's a highly significant waterway and river system for Yarrabul people. Walk well today on Yarrabul country.
Building the Skywalk was one part of the equation, but infrastructure alone doesn't create meaning. As you heard earlier through the audio, bringing this place to life requires more than the structure itself. We used digital technology and worked closely with local people, historians, geologists, Indigenous community members and elders to bring together stories connected to each vantage point along the Skywalk. What this has evolved into is a series of sound trails. Standing on the Skywalk, you can listen to the landscape in front of you, its stories, its history, its culture. It's an inspiring way to bring geotourism to life, right in the centre of Glen Innes, at the peak of our centennial parklands perched above the Australian Standing Stones. The experience is simple. Visitors download the free Sound Trails app and either enable location services so the Skywalk Sound Trails appear automatically, or easily search for the trails within the app. A map then guides them to the 3 lookout points, each with its own audio experience.
Ron Gillett has been part of the fossicking and mining story in our region all his life. Without Ron, the Emmaville Mining Museum would never have existed. Here's Ron to tell us more about our geological heritage, along with geologist Damien Wilkinson and ranger Koen Dijkstra.
At the Mining Museum, what you can see is many local mineral specimens and the way the miners used to live and the way they used to work. Well, tin was discovered in Emerald in 1872, and you can take a 10-kilometre radius of the township and it's all alluvial tin, anywhere from grassroots down to 125 feet.
In the 1870s and 80s, the production from the combined New England tin field, which included Stanthorpe, Torrington, Emerville and Ellesmere, Tingha, Gilgai, far exceeded any other tin province in the world. It was the largest by a long way.
Down at our silver mine, which is in the west, you can go there in Fossick, you can get silver and you can get copper and you can get smoky quartz crystals. Out of Torrington, there's probably 15, 16 mines, big mines, and they were all for tin and wolfram.
In New South Wales, there's only 2 national parks we're allowed to Fossick, and Torrington State Conservation Area is one of those.
Well, I would just like to say that I do appreciate when we get visitors to come here, because it's been a big job to put this museum together, and when we get visitors it just makes me so happy.
Brings us to where we are now. Our ambition is to become a UNESCO Global Geopark with our New England Northwest neighbours, and our new Glen Innes Highlands Destination Management Plan doubles down on that ambition. Everything we do from here, partnerships with tourism operators, new experiences, collaboration with agencies and future infrastructure development must take the learnings from the Skywalk and apply them more broadly. It's about bringing geotourism to life through experiences that educate, motivate, and create a strong sense of place. That's how we take our community forward from past to present. That's how we protect the environment now and for the next generations. That's how we reinvigorate former mining and arsenic sites across the region. That's how Glen Innes builds a resilient future grounded in place, science and community. So bring yourself or your field team and come visit the Glen Innes Highlands GeoRegion. Thank you for listening to this presentation today. If you require any further information, please contact council at council@gisc.newsouthwales.gov.au, and you can also go to the Glen Innes Highlands website. Google Glen Innes Highlands or go to gleninneshighlands.com.au. Thank you very much.